Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Family Jewels. I'm Colton Bartell. I'm a graduate gemologist here at Susann's, and flying solo today. We've been busy this morning, and you get just me today. Anyway, we're finishing up with the quartzes, and we're going to talk about some of the other varieties of quartzes. There's just a ton of them out there, and we just don't have the time to cover all of them. So we're going to cover some of the more common ones that you're going to see that we haven't covered. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about amethyst and ametrine and citrine and some of the other more common quartzes that you're going to see in the jewelry industry. But we're going to kind of finish these up with some of the other ones that you might see in some of the pieces in the cases. And maybe some that are a little less common, but still really cool. And I definitely want to show them to you. So, talking about the quartzes, they're really common, like we've said, with the amethyst and citrine. They're pretty prevalent in regards to the jewelry business anyway, or gemstones. Still really rare when it comes to just stones in general, but much more prevalent than, say, diamond or sapphire or alexandrite or some of those others that are much more rare. There's a lot of different varieties of quartz. All of them are kind of designated by their name, some of them by their nature, like we talked about the rutilated and terminated quartzes a couple of weeks ago. And so those, they are very different, having those different types of inclusions and stuff in them that make them really unique. And then we've got amethyst that is purple, and you've got ametrine that's purple and orange, and you've got citrine that's yellow to orange to almost red. And so we've covered a big majority of them, and so we're kind of down to the last few that we're going to talk about anyway. And so one of those that we're going to talk about that you may see a little bit more often is rock crystal quartz. And when we're talking about rock crystal quartz, it's essentially the colorless variety of quartz. And we've got a few pieces here. I've got two in particular that I'm going to show you that are a little bit more unique and a little more fun to look at, I guess you could say, because the rock crystal stuff can be kind of boring if it's just colorless. So one of them that I'm going to show you, this is a mirrored cut. This is a really cool stone here. So it's a polished facet on one side, so you can see through it, and then it's actually kind of a broken texture on the other side, but it gives you a really cool look on there. But this is the rock crystal quartz. So this is the colorless variety of quartz, fairly common. This can occur in really large crystal sizes, and generally very, very clean, very clear. So it makes for some really cool fashion pieces, some really cool cuts. Some of those cutters out there that like to get a little bit crazy with stuff, this is one of those stones that they prefer because it's relatively inexpensive. They can get large pieces, and it's fairly clean. So good morning, Carla. So it's one of those stones that they like to carve on, get some really cool, interesting cuts and shapes, and so they'll use this material for a lot of those competitions whenever it's coming down to the cutting styles. Another piece of this I'm going to show you, this one's actually got what we call phantom crystals in it, and this is really cool. So it's basically a crystal that's grown inside of a crystal. And so if you look at this, this actually has a quartz crystal that's grown inside of another quartz crystal that's larger. And these are called phantom crystals. And this can occur relatively often. This happens in a lot of larger stones, and it's really cool when you find these pieces like this. A lot of the cutters will actually facet these or polish these. Like this one's just a polished, basically a big polished pear shape. It's kind of a raindrop. They'll polish them to actually accent and really, really show off those phantom crystals, which is really, really cool. So these are just fun stones to work with. You can make some really large, elaborate pieces and still keep your costs down. They're really impressive because it's still a natural stone. So it's not like you're just, you know, throwing some costume jewelry together. It's actually a nice piece of jewelry that has natural stones in it. But you're keeping your costs down, you're keeping your quality up, and the look is just impressive with these. So one of the other ones that that we like to talk about a little bit, this is what's called an ice wine quartz. Most of the trade refers to this as bicolor quartz, but this is actually rock crystal and amethyst. Really, really pretty stone. Kind of, there, we'll get it centered in our little ring light there. But really, really pretty stone. So this, the reason for this, we actually named this stone several years ago. We came up with the name of ice wine quartz for the plain simple fact it looks like you've got wine with ice on top of it. And yeah, it's just a really, really pretty stone, very unique. This stuff is primarily coming out of Brazil, and matter of fact, everything that we've bought has come out of Brazil. And so it's actually a little bit more common than what you would think. It's just that not a lot of jewelry stores have picked it up, which is really unusual. So this was some stuff, this was some material that they were basically cutting the purple portion of it into really nice amethyst and kind of just leaving the other stuff off to the side. So you had these like transition pieces that were coming out of these mines that really nobody knew what to do with. And so they just kind of set in the backs of the shops of these cutters and just kind of piled up. And so whenever demand went way up and basically some of that material started to dwindle, they started cutting this stuff, and whenever it started getting to like us, these independent stores that are buying loose color for projects and stuff like that, it really, really jumped at us. And so we got on that and bought several pieces of it, and really, really loved what the look of it was. And so we've got some unusual faceting like this one, and it may be hard to see, but there's actually some facets that go across the middle of the stone that separate the amethyst from the rock crystal, or the purple from the clear or colorless. And so it's really unusual, really cool stone, definitely a conversation piece and a lot of fun. So some other ones that are really unique. Before I get to this, I've got a massive, massive stone down here that I'm going to show you. But before I get to that, I want to kind of show you these pieces that are really, really cool. This actually occurs naturally. It's called Drusy Quartz. And so these pieces are not overly pretty on the back. So we've got this on the back. But when you flip it around, it's all crystals on the front and all glittery and everything. And you may have seen these. A lot of these end up in fashion pieces. Some really big rings, some really big pendants. Occasionally you'll see them sliced and put in earrings. But essentially you have agate on the side, which agate is basically a microcrystal, or a microcrystalline aggregate of quartz crystals, pretty much. So you got a bunch of little quartz crystals that are all kind of grouped up together and make up those agates and stuff like that. So a lot of times you'll see those sliced and they'll be like bookends and stuff like that. And that's actually still in the quartz family. And then you get some that's actually of this Drusy that people actually treat it with like gold or titanium, and they'll just treat the surface of it and coat it. So you get like these really cool colors. This is kind of cool. It's like a Martian landscape or something, you know. Love these. They're just fun. Because all of them are different. And like I said, this one's got like all these little glittery effects on there, because these are all those little crystal faces that you're seeing. So this isn't cuts and stuff on here. They literally just cut a circle out of the rock, and then when you flip it around, this is what was on the inside of that stone. And so these are all just natural crystal faces that occur there. And they've coated this, I believe this one was coated in titanium, so you have a little bit of iridescence, and you can maybe see a little bit of that on the side here. But it really pops on that stone, so it's really, really cool. So, the other one that I'm going to show you, and again, there are a lot of quartzes out there. We've covered a good majority of them that are used in the jewelry business, but there are a lot of quartzes out there. There's some that have a different ways that they treat light. There's some that are phenomenal quartzes. You have a venturing quartz that has kind of a sparkle to it, and it's because of the little platelets, green platelets that are in it. That's really cool. Oh man, there's a lot of them out there. There's some cat's eye quartzes and stuff like that. We've got a big chunk here of tiger's eye that you get that cat's eye in, which is really, really pretty. This is actually not the big one I'm going to show you, but like I said, there's just a ton of quartzes out there. If there is one that you guys want to hear about specifically, let us know, and we'll go back and we'll try and cover it. But the one I'm going to show you, this is actually a bicolor quartz, but what we want to focus on is actually the darker end of this. So this stone is like over 400 carats, and it is faceted, it is natural. Check that bad boy out. Whoa. Yeah, this is like over 400 carats. It's smoky quartz with rock crystal on top. These are two of the more common colors of quartz, and this can be found in the United States. This stone in particular actually did come from Brazil, like many of the stones that we've got, many of the quartzes that we've got. But I mean, this thing is a chunk. Look at that. It's like 2 golf balls put together. I mean, this thing's big and really, really pretty, really bright. It's got a lot of shine to it. Could you imagine putting that on your hand? I mean, that's like, look at that. Woo! That's a big stone, but a lot of fun. This is a great example of getting these really large pieces of quartz that are really clean. So you can actually, if we can get some light to shine through this a little bit, you can see how clean this stone is. There's no inclusions or anything in it. It's really, really clean. Really pretty stone. And by the way, we are still doing our giveaways. So all you have to do to get entered to win our giveaways is simply comment. All it has to be is just a hello or hi or how's it going. If you have a question about anything that we talk about, for everyone that you put in, it increases your chances of winning, because what we do is we actually go through and we have a number that we pick, and in the line of comments, whoever makes that number of comments, so say it's 7, whoever makes the 7th comment on this video will actually be our winner for the week. And we give away a gemstone every week. And if you're not here in Corpus, then we will send it to you. And no charge to you, and you get something pretty in the mail. So that's kind of fun. And that's all you have to do. All you have to do is comment to enter. You can comment as much as you like. Any questions that you like, we just ask that you keep it clean, because we will delete them if they're not. But anyway, if you guys have any questions about any of the stones that we talk about, or you would like to purchase them, that works too. All you have to do is just comment on there. If there's a stone or something that you would like us to discuss that's jewelry related, feel free to comment on there, and we will try and tackle that topic at some point. But I've got one more announcement for you guys. Actually, I've got 2 more announcements for you guys. One is we are this month and next month's cover feature of Inspire Coastwind magazine. So come by our store, pick one of those copies up. We actually get to share it with our friends over at Coffee Waves in Flower Bluff and Port Aransas with our pastor, David Bendette. So shout out to Coffee Waves and all the guys over there. I know they're still doing some cleanup and trying to get their shop reopened in Port A after Hurricane Harvey, and we're looking forward to going over there and checking that out as soon as it gets open. But they do have their trailer over there up and going, so go check out Coffee Waves if you're over in the Port Aransas area or in Flower Bluff, and pick up a copy of Inspire Coastman magazine. You can kind of read their story about how they came about and how they're doing and how they're faring through this storm. And we are on the cover. We get to grace the cover. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's got our faces on it, and it's got a really awesome story that they wrote on us, and we are really humbled and really grateful for the opportunity that they've given us. And then the other announcement is December 1st. It's a Friday, first Friday in December. We are having our Town and Country Classic Christmas Open House. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got an awesome jazz trio that is scheduled to play that night. We host a free concert. So if you guys don't know about this, we do have a free concert on our Christmas Open House night, and it goes from 3 to 8 p.m. December 1st here at Town and Country, and it also includes some of the businesses that are in the area. So there's some that go down Everhart and down Alameda a little bit further and across the street that are participating. So it's going to be an awesome time. Over the last 3 years, this is our 4th year that we're going to be doing it, and over the last 3 years we've given away over $12,000 in prizes. So it's a lot of fun. You don't want to miss it. There's no cost to you involved at all. It is a family-friendly event, so bring the kids, bring the parents, bring the grandparents, leave the in-laws at home, and no, bring them too. But come out, have a wonderful time. A lot of the businesses are going to be having refreshments and cookies and stuff like that. We will have a stage set up out front with a concert going on. We'll have a bunch of different acts up there. Who knows, you may actually see my wife and I singing too, so yeah. But it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of great prizes, and get here early. The parking lot does fill up really fast, but as we get a little bit closer to the event, we'll give you some more details. But you can also go and check out the event on our Facebook page right here at Susann's Custom Jewelers Facebook, and click on it and you'll get some more details on there, and we will be posting updates. So you can mark yourself as going to that event and be kept in the loop, and be looking for those updates. We will be putting up our banners and our posters here shortly here at Town and Country. So we thank you guys for joining. Keep the comments coming in, and we will announce our winner for this week a little bit later today. And in the meantime, stay sparkly. We thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye.